Fingers dancing like a storm. Chaos feels like the new norm. Blood on the floor, bulls in the ring. Grab the trend, ride the swing. Is it luck or is it skill? I can't stop, I need the thrill. Up or down, I don't care. Profits flying through the air. Win or lose, it's all the same. Cash the check and play the game. They call it greed, but I call it art. Tearing the system apart. Numbers fall and numbers climb. Ringing bells at closing time. Up or down, I don't care. Profits flying through the air. Win or lose, it's all the same. Cash the check and play the game. Play the game. Play the game. The game. They call it greed, but I call it art. Tearing the system apart. Numbers falling, numbers climb. Ringing bells at closing time.
Pocket full of dreams, no loose change. Flipping pennies to dollars, my range insane. Cattle grazing wide, land for the fam. Freedom ain't free, gotta buy that land. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's a harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep. Bought a piece of dirt, turned it into gold. Hustle in my veins, yeah, the story's old. Ain't no Wall Street, this is Main Street grind. Freedom's in the ledger, dollar signs aligned. Greenback stacking, the smell of success. A life without chains, no more distress. Money ain't the goal, it's just the key. Unlocking the door to living free. Hay bale ill stacked, barns full of grain. Portfolios fat, no financial strain. Farm to the markets, flipping what I sow. Freedom's the harvest, watch the profit flow. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's the harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep. Hay bale stacked, barns full of grain. Portfolios fat, no financial strain. Farm to the markets, flipping what I sow. Freedom's the harvest, watch the profit flow. Stacks on stacks, I'm planting my seed. Freedom's the harvest, it's all that I need. Invest in tomorrow, watch the roots grow deep. Building my empire while the world's asleep.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines. One of them is going to be about the 80,000 Bitcoin we had talked about the other week. Looks like it definitely got sold. So we will be touching on that in a second. I've also got another headline, going to be a stock IPO with a software company. We'll get to that one in a little bit. But first, I got that stock heat map pulled up like always. So let's dive on in, get you prepared for some success today. We're seeing a little bit of some green, a little bit of some red in this pre-market this morning. Got Apple sitting up 0.62%, looking up 0.2% this morning. Got Nvidia sitting down 0.6% off of its close, looking down 1.23% this morning. Got Berkshire Hathaway up 0.13 and up 0.2 this morning. Amazon sitting up 1.4. Looking to the downside this morning, though, just in that neutral range, down 0.04. We've got Eli Lilly sitting down 1.23. Looking towards the upside this morning, 0.1%. We've got ExxonMobil sitting up 0.26% off of its close. Looking quite neutral this morning, though, but a little bit down, 0.06. We've got Tesla sitting to the downside as well, 0.35 off of its close and down 0.64 this morning. P&G also looking in the red off of its close, looking in the neutral range this morning, up 0.08. We've got Microsoft sitting with no change on the board for its close yesterday. After all that hack news, looking to the downside this morning, though, down 0.15. We've got Google sitting up 2.8 off of its close, looking to the upside this morning as well, up 0.2. And we've got Meta looking towards the upside as well, 1.23% off of its close and 0.15% this morning. For the crypto side of things, we are looking decently red. We do have Bitcoin finally making its way back up to where we were yesterday. 0% on that daily, looking up on the hourly. We've got Ethereum down 2.6%, seeing some green on the hourly as well, just like most of these other alts are. We do have XRP down 1.6%, Solana taking a spot in the market cap from BNB, sitting up 4.5%, while BNB is looking quite similar to Bitcoin with a 0% on that daily, also getting that pump on the hourly. We've got Dogecoin sitting down 0.5%. We've got Cardano down 1.3%. Tron sitting down 0.2%. We've got Hyperliquid down 0.6%. We've got Stellar Lumens down 4.1%. Sui sitting down 2.9%. We've got Chainlink down 3.3%. We've got HBAR sitting down 5.7%. We've got Avalanche down 0.7%. We've got Bitcoin Cash sitting down 1.7%. Shiba Inu down 3.4%. Litecoin holding that 19 spot from Leo token, as we've watched the Leo token slide all the way from like number 12 in market cap all the way down to number 20, sitting up 0.2% on that daily for Leo. We are sitting in greed still, nothing too different over there, as we've seen the stock side remain quite stable as we're waiting to kind of see what happens on August 1st. Crypto side of things hasn't changed much either. 1 point towards the upside, still sitting in some light greed, kind of waiting to see if we go grab that top side liquidity, which we will talk about in just a second. Sitting directly above us, right under that $120,000 spot, we have about $20 million. And that's kind of the range I've been looking at for this morning. It is directly towards the top side of us. We're seeing a little bit of some resistance after we grab that liquidity here, and we'll kind of have to see if we can continue to the upside to grab that. We do have that 3-day looking quite similar, with that liquidity residing directly above us, close to that $120,000 mark. This one has a little more liquidity up there to grab if you've zoomed that on out a little further. Take a look at that 2-week, and this is where you start seeing that bottom side liquidity. And this is what I would kind of look for after we can clear out some of that top side liquidity on the shorter term time frame. We came very close to grabbing that bottom side liquidity. I know we had talked about it at the beginning of the week. This is on either side of that fair value gap I have marked out, sitting at 115,500 and then coming all the way down to 112,300. I still have my eyes on these areas. I'm kind of waiting for most of the close liquidity at the top side to be cleared out before we can make our way back down there. We came extremely close to grabbing that first bottom side batch of liquidity, and I'm waiting to clear it out, especially since we got so close. Let's take a look at that economic calendar, because we got a biggie coming out this morning. Let's scroll it back up. Going to be a short day for data coming out of the United States, but the big one coming out this morning with Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 8:30 Eastern Time. We'll also get another Fed Chair speaking this afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and another one speaking I guess that's tomorrow. But we do have Bank of Japan Udea's speech. So kind of similar to what we'll be seeing from the United States, coming out at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Going to be getting that same thing from Japan. We'll also get the same thing coming out of the European Union at 1 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So a lot of speeches coming out today. Might be a bit of a market mover since we don't really have any other data, and we have been seeing a lot of tariff news. Kind of waiting to see how Fed Chair Jerome Powell wants to handle some of that tariff news coming out on August 1st. Let's say good morning to the chat. We got a few people in here this morning. We got Jesse Gluck first in the chat saying good morning. Make sure to hit that like button on the way in. I appreciate you, Jesse. We've got Duality P in here. I think he said he's going back to bed. Yep, he said he's going back to bed. He must have been up late pulling a Jesse there. We got Duality C in here. Good morning to you. We've got Curtis Hill. Good morning to you. We've got Pennywise in here. I don't think I've seen you in here this early before. So good morning. Hope you're having a great day. We've got Darren Does Things in here as well. Good morning to you. Let's see who. JR coming in. Good morning to you. He says it's 3:45 a.m. It is 4. It would have been 4:35 my time, but I wake up at about that 3 o'clock. So I know what you mean there. It's quite a decent time to enter a trade. We've got Kate Diggity coming in here saying good morning to everyone. Let's see, JR. So it turns out TradFi isn't boy band and Piper in it. It means stocks or something. Yeah. It's what the crypto people call the stock market. We call it TradFi, or traditional finance. We're in crypto, so it is alternative finance. There you go. The more you know. Let's see. Anyone else in here? Not seeing anyone else. We got a few people over on X. Good morning to all of you. Let's hop into this Bitcoin chart and get it zoomed on out. Take a look at that 4 hour, because that daily still looking a bit toppy, getting that break of some indicators down towards the bottom side. But this 4 hour does look like you can grab that top side liquidity we were talking about at about that $120,000 mark. You do have these very equal candle bodies. Let me get my demonstration tool pulled up. Got those very equal candle bodies sitting right here with that liquidity directly above it. So I would look for that pump above it. Now that we've gotten above that 118 200 to kind of grab that top side liquidity and then see if we can make our way back down into this fair value gap where the rest of that liquidity is kind of sitting on the top side. We do see that money flow still in the red, but your MACD and your prime oscillator getting a little bit of some curvature here. Your volume starting to peak up just a little bit. We'll kind of have to see if that comes with some selling pressure once we grab that top side liquidity, because that money flow is extremely red here on the 4-hour. Zoom that on in, take a look at that 1 hour. 1 hour looking quite similar to a little bit of some upside movements as that selling pressure has lessened up just a little bit and you're just starting to get that inflow of volume. So we're kind of waiting to see on that top side liquidity grab above this high over here. 119,800 is kind of where we're watching for that top side liquidity grab to see if we can come back down, really turn this 18,200 into some support. We get a lot of bouncing action off of the top side and bottom side of that level with very equal candle bodies. Kind of waiting to see if we can hold that level. If we do, making our way back up towards that $120,000 mark and really trying to make our move back up towards this all-time high. There was a little bit of liquidity residing up at that point. If we were unable to really maintain the midline between that platinum pocket and our golden pocket here, I'd come back down to look at this fair value gap and the CME gap. We've talked about that quite a bit there. There's some liquidity residing below that fair value gap as well. Kind of a big push if you can get back down towards this golden pocket area. Would kind of wait to see if we can cool off some of these oscillators up at the top first, and if not, making our way back down. Let's zoom that on in. Take a look at that 15-minute and the morning here, because we are getting a little bit of some upside movement right off of that. Off of that VWAP, we got a bit of a bouncing action once we got above that 118 200, came back down, bounced off VWAP, and we're starting to make our way back up. But we have these indicators looking a little bit toppy here, starting to get a little bit of some curvature on the MACD. Prime oscillator on its way back up, but starting to do so with a little bit of some sideways momentum here. Money flow coming in just a little bit, but volume starting to come back out this morning. Not too unexpected as we're in that in-between trading time with that European market opening and that American market not quite open just yet. So waiting to see on that market open what kind of movements we get. Might see a little bit of some boring action this morning with some upside, some downside coming up to grab that liquidity, and then waiting to see what Jerome Powell says. That's kind of my idea for the morning, especially with how toppy these indicators look with very small moves towards the upside. If we got any alt requests, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Let's see what we got. Where's Vegas Claw when liquidity enters the chat? Says Jesse. Yeah, I saw your foot post, Pennywise. Looks like a good shift. I'm not sure what that one is, but maybe finding some good charts. Let's see. US Prime MACD normalized trader. Oh yeah. No, I don't like that MACD normalized. I like my my plain MACD and my prime oscillator, which is my replacement for my RSI. I get a lot more data from that prime oscillator than I did from that RSI. We got Dylan VA, a little bit late to the party, he says, but he's here. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. I got AI XBT requested. Can definitely take a look at that. We got Ondo Prime and oh, I haven't heard about that one in a while, but we got Near requested. So let's get that AI XBT. We can take a look at some Ondo. We'll put Near on there, and then I'll put Prime on the bottom of the list because Haven't heard of it, and I guarantee it's a naked chart. So let's get over to that news article for the morning. We've got Bitcoin whale selling 9.5 billion in crypto that was originally required at $54,000. That recent 80,000 Bitcoin transfer that we had talked about, I believe it was last week, if not the week before, that Bitcoin got sold. So we seem to be in the middle of an especially frisky season for the so-called Bitcoin whales, as another remarkable crypto cash-in value of 9.5 billion has been spotted. This extraordinary financial transaction comes to light just a couple weeks after an $8 billion sale hit the Tom Hardware's headlines. This Bitcoin whale sold 80,000 Bitcoin for 9.6 billion, which was bought in 2011 for $54,000. This is the list of the transactions there. You can kind of see they were sold in batches to keep from catching some of that slippage. We'll scroll it on down. Kalashi on X Twitter brought this huge trade to light just ahead of the weekend. The Bitcoin whale just sold all the 80,000 Bitcoin for 9.6 billion, they remarked, which was bought in 2011 for $54,000. Those tens of thousands provided quite a canny investment. 14 years ago or so, whipping out your abacus, we noted that the unnamed whale made about 18 million% on return. It is easier to comprehend or count figures. We could say that the whale's investment ended up multiplying 176,000 compared to their initial stake. Quite a big gain on that one. We did talk about it here. I did say normally you move some money over in preparation to sale, and I think he was just waiting on that next leg up, and then he exited the market. So we'll kind of have to see if we continue to see those kind of movements here in the market. I did have this one I wanted to take a look at as well. This is quite a big tech company if you are in the world of the web. They help design a lot of web-based products. They have the testing software for your for internet software before you actually take it to mainnet. So Figma sets price range for NYSE IPO. A design software company, Figma is planning to offer about 12.47 million Class A common shares priced in the range of $25 to $28 per share in its IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. The San Francisco-based company said in a regulatory filing on Monday that selling stockholders are offering 24.46 million shares in the IPO. Figma is targeting a fully diluted valuation of $16.4 billion, according to a report on Reuters. This kind of talks about Adobe trying to buy them back in 2022, not being able to do so, which I'm kind of okay with. Adobe doesn't need more in their suite. I'm not paying for Adobe anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But a nice little initial public offering there. If you like the tech sector, and web-based is kind of the next big push in that next tech sector. So seeing a lot coming out on that front. We also have, like we talked about earlier this week, Amazon offering internet services. So a lot of big pushes in that internet service. We've got a few alt requests requested. When we got any other alt requests, go ahead and drop them. What's IPO mean? I've heard that a lot. Oh, initial public offering. Yes, that is what that means. K Diggity coming in there to answer that one. It's like when a stock is first available to the open market. Yes, that is exactly what it means. It's the same thing as like an ICO for crypto, initial coin offering. It is the first time that you can buy said asset. That is what that means. So it's early. I just stopped seeing sideways about 3 minutes ago. Kind of like pre-sale in crypto. No. So Pre-sale for the stock market would be a private offering, and you got to have a certain amount of money to be offered private offerings, or you got to be in hedge funds. So those are those two ways to get those private offerings before the public really gets them. For us plebs, we wait for those IPOs, and then you play the IPO game. You ride it on its way up, and then you sell off at some tops, and then you buy back in at some bottoms, and then you continue on its movement if it's a good stock. If you're not a member of the Discord, you missed out on a great conversation last night. We were talking about the US dollar and how it's been in a massive downtrend since about January of this year. Kind of a big reason why you've seen a lot of your assets going up in price so heavily. You have Bitcoin not making new all-time highs in the euro, but making new all-time highs in the dollar. You also have the S&P 500, which has been on a new all-time high streak for the past 3 months. And a lot of that has to do with this trend, this giant downtrend that you were seeing on the dollar. I did have this nice little line in the sand marked out, which was something I was watching for to see if we actually ended up breaking and were unable to hold. It looks like that's exactly what has happened now. We have that nice little line in the sand being broken towards the downside, and then seeing some resistance coming in at the 382 here on our fibs. So looking like that dollar quite battered down here, rejecting off some of those key levels we had also been watching about. But this was that break of trend I was watching for on the dollar, making that lower high, looking in to come in and make a lower macro low. So waiting for something to come rescue the dollar. We might be waiting on Jerome Powell, just saying. Let's hop over to some of those alt requests. We had quite a few of them. AIXBT, Ondo, Near, and Prime. Ooh, Dora want a pump? Well, I'm not sure if that's talking about the dollar want to pump. I don't think the dollar wants to pump anytime soon. It is close to some areas on the weekly here where you could see a little bit of some movement towards the upside, but your prime oscillator moving quite sideways as your volume remains quite low, and your MACD, let me get that demonstration tool, as it's making its way up towards that indicator line, is getting some sideways momentum. Zoom this on in, take a look at the daily, and that daily also showing you that you might be getting some continued downside as that MACD is rolling over, prime oscillator rolling over. I just had that zoomed out on the weekly so you kind of see a little bit more history on the dollar. We also have that 4 hour looking like it's continuing its break of trend towards the downside. MACD breaking below the zero line. You got your prime oscillator sitting in the red and rolling over after a reversal signal. You've got hourly where you might start seeing a little bit of some pump after we get probably our fourth reversal signal flashing here. This is where you can kind of see maybe a chance for a little bit more pump if you can find a strong bottoming point. We do have a nice little area down here at about 97.42 that I'd potentially look for a little bouncing action at, which we're a little ways from, but the dollar still making lower highs and lower lows throughout all of this. So not looking too hot for the dollar. All right, let's get over to some of those alt requests. We had AIXBT. I believe I always look at it on that Binance chart. There we go. We did get that nice little move back down towards our support line that we'd been watching for. Something has got to happen. Camel Finance had an interesting view on how to save the national debt through revaluing gold. The dollar is doomed though. Yeah, it kind of is. I don't talk about it much, but if you go over to this US Euro pair and you take a look at the dollar compared to the euro, it has been in a downtrend since the euro's entire existence, except for this little spike in the 80s, which, if you know about history, America was doing quite well in the 80s, and that's when we made our peak, and then we've never ever regained any of that strength. You also have US dollar finding some strength against the Japanese yen. We've got the British pound, though, never came back to make anything close to what we've ever been in. And this downtrend has kind of slowed up just a little bit, but we're at that point where you see those big peaks and then you get those big troughs. Kind of the same thing with the Canadian dollar here. We did find some strength back in that 08, 09, but we kind of were the reason that they saw the weakness in 08 and 09. We did find some strength, but we've never come back up to these highs from back here. So China, kind of similar. We've been finding some strength, but we will kind of have to see how their markets do in comparison. If that US dollar does crap out quite a bit, they sell off some of their debt, they're gonna see some strength in that Chinese dollar. So the big one, though, is that euro. We're weighted very heavily against the dollar when it comes to the euro. Let's get back over to AI XBT. Something tells me BC likes moving averages. I do. I do quite a bit. I've got all the way from the 20 moving average and all the way to the 900. And if you're a stock person, you kind of see a lot of bouncing off of those moving averages. Same with some of those more traditional finance things like the dollar and gold. So that's why I'm a big fan of moving averages. You wait for that constriction, and then you kind of wait to see which direction it's going to send us. We've got Ada Ace in the chat. Good morning to you. Let me drop that channel link. I know you go live here shortly, so we've got Ada Ace's channel link in the chat. I use the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 20. I use all of those and then a little bit more. So you can kind of see sometimes they come into play. You're getting a little bit of bounce off the 200 there. Get above that 300 and you really see that nice strong bouncing action off of the top side of it. They come into play quite nicely sometimes. So seeing a little bit of some restriction on AI XBT. We had talked about that, getting back up towards the top side here, seeing if we break below. We do have our indicators being a little toppy here, getting that rollover of our MACD, getting that rollover of our prime oscillator, money flow trying to hold quite steady, and volume holding quite steady here on the 4-hour. So we'll kind of have to see if we can continue to get a little bit of bouncing action off of our support here. We did get a nice little wick below that. Nice little bounce off of our moving average there, which they sometimes hold up as support. And then we're waiting to see if we can get that pushback towards the top side here. We have resided towards the top side of this constricting area quite a bit in recent movements. So if we can get that nice move back up towards the top side, really have those oscillators cooled off on that hourly, which is what we had been talking about yesterday, we could get that nice strong bounce, turn it into some support, and then make our way back up to 22 cents. We do have that hourly looking very, very cooled off here as your prime oscillator is at the bottom, waiting for a reversal signal to really flash. Your money flow is starting to get that curve back up. You've got your true 7 clipping out. Only thing is your volume is a little bit low here. Not too unexpected in that in-between trading time. You do have Europe with very low trading volume and waiting for America's trading to really start kicking in here. You do have 15-minute and the morning looking like it's trying to get back up above our resistance line. If you're unable to do that, you do have some bottom side targets to kind of watch for. So if we do get that stronger rejection off of those resistance levels, I'd look back down here at about 14.5 cents where we see some of those strong bouncing actions coming into play. Let me get that horizontal drawn out. Comes in from all the way back there. You see all that bouncing action you get off of those levels, and that'd be that bottom side target to kind of watch for. Well, kind of depending here on if we can get back in to our constricting area. See some of the same action we had saw on the top side here, trying to grab liquidity, grabbing liquidity here as well, seeing if we're grabbing some of that bottom side liquidity, clearing it out, and then making that move back in towards the top side. All right, we had AIXBT. Let's take a look at some Ondo. All right, Ondo. I don't think I've got that on my list. I do have it on my list. All right, $1.08 was that price point we were looking for. Got that nice little move above it. Still trying to hold this platinum pocket area. You do have. Let's take a look at that higher term time frame. This daily looking a little bit toppy. Getting a little bit of sideways momentum here on the prime oscillator, starting to see that curvature of the MACD, but you're still printing some nice big candles here on our histogram, and your volume's still quite high here. So waiting to kind of see if we can continue to see a little bit of money flow coming on these shorter term time frames. At least hold up 97 cents. That's that area I would kind of watch for the short term. That's where we get a lot of Wiccan action from back here. Let me get that drawn out for you. That's that short-term area. I would kind of look for some bouncing action. You do have a bit of a fair value gap in there as well that you could keep your eye on. Zooming on in to that 4 hour. Wow, that's basically where that fair value gap started when we got that strong move towards the upside. Now that we're unable to really hold that $1.08 area, might look back down to 96 cents as that 4 hour getting that break below our indicator line, printing some red candles here on the histogram. You've got two bearish divergences stacked up here, seeing that reversal signal, and your prime oscillator rolling over as your volumes remaining quite low. So nice little move back down to an area of support. Could see that volume really start to pick back up and that money flow come back in. We've got Moose Ash in the chat. He says, hello, how are you? Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's take a look at this 1 hour. See what we might be looking for the day. Looking like this hourly quite low here on the prime oscillator. MACD still continuing on the bottom side of our indicator line, breaking below that at zero line as well. We do have a reversal signal that has flashed. Your true 7 has clipped out, but your volume still extremely low. So we're really waiting on that nice area of support to come in for Ondo, and then see that next push towards the upside. $1.08 is our strong resistance area for now that we would really need to get above first, and then make our way back up towards our golden pocket and this old fair value gap that we haven't been at in quite a while. So looking to see if we can at least hold those 90-cent range as that 15-minute tries to get a little bit of some topside action, but making lower highs, making lower lows, really waiting to see that reversal of trend there. SOAB, not sure on that one, but looking like you're getting that rollover here on the 15-minute as well, waiting to see if we can get above the top side of that indicator line here on the prime oscillator. We're seeing a little bit of sideways momentum there, so waiting to kind of see a reversal of trend here on the shorter term time frame, back down to that 96-cent point. We do have a little area above that at about $1.03, which we've got a little bit of some bouncing action off of here and here. If we're unable to hold, really look at that 96-cent point. Ondo. All right, let's take a look at some near. A project I haven't looked at in quite a while. Was a favorite, and then really kind of crapped the bed. Just like a lot of alts. Bullish blue dot on ADA on the 15-minute. Well, we can take a look at some ADA here if we got some time. Or everyone can just go over to ADA Ace's channel and he will do a breakdown there as well. I'm sure you trade ADA quite a bit on Strike, you know, since it is that ADA exchange. Let's take a look at near on this daily time frame, looking quite toppy here as well. You are getting that move back up towards a strong resistance area that was from all the way back here. Found it as some support. I guess that was a support area, now resistance area. Got those strong bounces off of the top side here, drop back down below levels I had been looking at. Saw that price really constrict at that $2.14 before we made that move back up towards our golden pocket, or above the platinum pocket. Saw that resistance coming into play at $3.07. Looking like you're a little bit toppy here all over again. Might look back down towards that platinum pocket there. You do see a little bit of some action where you might see at about $2.72 that platinum pocket coming in at $2.62. So a little bit of some bouncing areas to watch for on near if you do see that pullback action coming into play. Let me get that deleted as well. This was 353 was kind of my line in the sand. That was where we got those other bouncing actions off of. Haven't been a fan of near in quite a while. It's a great project, but price action doesn't always go with the best projects. We do have this 4-hour also looking like it's a little bit toppy here, breaking below our indicator line. Prime oscillator rolling over as well. Volume extremely low here, but you could start seeing that come back in at about that 273. Got a lot of bouncing action off of it on the top side as well. Near likes to really play on those same price points over and over, really repeat itself. Let's see that hourly trying to get a little bit of some hopium coming in here. We've got that prime oscillator getting that curvature back towards the upside here, but your volume extremely low. True 7 clipped out. We do have a reversal signal, but not doing so with some crazy volume. So you might see that resistance coming back into play at about $3.08. That's that big area in that we've had drawn out for most of Near's history. If we don't get back above that, I would look back down to 273. I know we were getting a little bit of some upside movements to grab some top side liquidity, so that 307 is what I'd kind of look for, and then back down to 273. Since this 15-minute in the morning is looking like it is trying to get a little bit of some pump here. It is in a bit of a downtrend, making those lower highs, lower lows, looking for that break above 297 to really see that strong bouncing action back up to 307. I just added a touch lower, I think. Either way, it's been in and out of profit, and I'm waiting it out. Which one was that on? Do I need to go to live chat? There we go. Let's see. Is that, is that from ADA? Yeah. If we have the chance, I will take a look at some ADA. We do have Prime that was requested by you, the DGen, sir. So we will take a look at some Prime. Hopefully this is the right project here, since I've never looked at it before. Oh, wrong button there. Let's get this pulled up on a daily, see what we're looking at. Looking like you might have made a low here on our daily time frame. One day I'll be the king of degens. I think you got to beat out Buck first, and then you can say you're the king of degens. Let me get a shorter term time frame. Fib pulled up from here to here. See what kind of action we're getting. Looking like Prime's trying to hold our $2.36 and $2.52. All right, let's get this zoomed on in. Because it is looking like you could continue to see some pump here if you get that money flow switching back towards the positive. It does look like it has found a little bit of some bottoming there. 4 hour also looking like it's trying to head its way back into the green. You do have a nice strong support coming in at 252, resistance above us at 296. We have been making very, very equal lows, so seeing a little bit of a sweep below that, pulling back above our 382, and then seeing that move back towards the 236 would kind of be something to watch for. You have your prime oscillator and a MACD getting that curvature, but that money flow is starting to come back in, so you could kind of see that negated a bit, see that secondary bearish divergence coming into play. If you make that nice sweep of liquidity, get that move back up to that $2.98 point. Let's get this taken a look at on that hourly. Hourly looking quite cooled off, so you did have two of those divergences that were stacked up here. Got a little bit of some cool off with this nice sideways momentum. 236 coming in right below us. We've got 242 would be that bottom side to kind of watch for. If you can sweep that liquidity, that would be below there, and then you can get that pushback towards the upside. You do have that prime oscillator still sitting in the red, waiting for that money flow to start coming back in. You did get that brief move into the green here as your volume started to slow up just a bit. So really waiting for that strong area for money flow to start coming back in. And I believe it would be with that bottom side liquidity sweep. Let's get that 15-minute and the morning pulled up. 15-minute in the morning, still needing a little bit of some cool off as well. Got those reversal signals flashing, money flow coming back into the green, but seeing a little bit of sideways momentum on that prime oscillator, and your MACD moving quite sideways as it's starting to break that indicator line as well. So might need a little more cooling off and seeing that bottom side liquidity really swept before you can have that confidence on a bigger move towards the upside there. You and your DGen plays, sir. Let's take a quick look at some ADA, see what ADA Ace was talking about. He said something about 99 cents. So let's get ADA pulled up. We did talk about 88 cents being a little bit of some resistance for yesterday. Let's see on this 4 hour what we're looking at. We did see that nice move below 88 cents. We did talk about potentially seeing that 50% line come into play here as we're looking a little bit sideways. You do have a few wrong button there. You got a few bearish divergences stacked up, a reversal signal that has flashed. Volume is quite low, really waiting on that to come back in as we get back down. Cool off those oscillators. 1 hour looking like you could potentially see a little more cool off here, but we are holding up. Looks like that 100 moving average quite nicely. Double bouncing action on it. Would really need to get above 88 cents there. You got quite a bit of support coming in below us, but that MACD still kind of heading towards the bottom side. Prime oscillator getting a little bit of sideways momentum after a true 7 clipping and a reversal signal, but the volume still slowing down here. My ADA saying 47, better than I thought. Time in the markets beats timing the markets. Oh, most definitely it does. If you've been holding ADA this whole time and you didn't maybe take a little bit of some profits, then I don't know what you've been doing. Lol, I bought ADA at 34 cents in 21 and 3 and 21, then DCA until 75 cents this year. I've got every good and bad price. Well, hopefully you can get back above $3 there, ADA Ace. But I think ADA's going to struggle for a little bit with this little area. See if we can get that continued money flow and volume to come back in, because volume started slowing up quite a bit, but it hasn't done so with crazy money flow coming out. So that is a little bit of some hopium there. Volume quite low here. Kind of waiting to see if we can break this lower high and lower low trend, which was what I had been talking about yesterday, seeing that move back down towards about 82 cents to get that stronger push back up to that 94-cent price point. Let's see. Definitely we won't top until February 26th. Well, we will just have to wait and see, sir. We will just have to wait and see. I hate putting definites on anything, and I don't put price targets on anything either. I just take things level by level, level by level, level by level. And anyone that likes those assets can make those decisions as we go along. But it is 5:29, about time to head over towards that morning motivational video. Just throw a couple bucks at it a day. You'd be surprised. I'm not sure if I'd start now, though, says Gate Diggity. I would kind of agree with that sentiment. You might get a little bit better of some buys at that 75-cent level. But 7 to 13 and February 26. See you at the top. That's some bold predictions there, sir. That's some bold predictions. Hope you the best on that. But me personally, I'm not going to be in ADA, and I'll be rolling my Bitcoin profits over into my retirement, a little bit of that into my retirement account, and then I'll be buying some stocks and waiting for the bottom, and then we'll be buying the bottom of Bitcoin all over again and playing this out. I think my alts next cycle are going to be Bitcoin forks, and that's it. I think that's the only game I'm going to play, because those held up quite nicely. I might also buy some XLM. That's not because I really like it. It's just because it's held up quite nicely. And I like XLM more than XRP. But that's neither here nor there. I will see y'all at the next one. Make sure to tune in to the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. We've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we've got Markets After Dark started back up at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.